Gentlemen, welcome to the IIK, the Is It Kino Special Forces. I am Agent Simian, and your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to podcast about the bloated, perhaps disappointing, but still entertaining finale to the Mission Impossible series. This podcast will self-destruct! Probably like in 5 hours, I don't know. I don't want to hurt the listeners right now. I'm me, joined as always by Rich McCoy.
Yeah, that's me, the living manifestation of destiny. Tom asked me to trust him one last time, and he let me down.
Oh no! Oh, hopefully Top Gun Maverick 2 will win Tom back over for us.
It's not even Top Gun 3, it's Top Gun Maverick 2.
Yeah, well, I hope it's not a sequel to the first one, because that movie sucked. Also joined by Special Agent Eggy.
That's right, you can call me the Entity because I do have a overpowering aroma that might start corrupting your country.
Now, as we learn in these movies, all the, what are they, the IMF? All the IMF agents are people who were going to be imprisoned for life for their crimes, but then they got a second chance. And Eggy, I think there's a timeline out there where you're falsely accused of all these horrible things that happened in society with guns. And maybe what if Eggy was about to be locked up for it and he was given a choice? Hey, join the secret special forces to save the world. We could have a Special Agent Eggy.
Well, Eggy, what would your ability set be? Your rhymes?
People say they like my rap and music. There was a guy last night. I got my account back, and so I had subscribed to him on my old account back in some years ago, and he was live streaming listening to dubstep, and then I came in the chat and he started playing all my stuff from SoundCloud. I was like, hey, some of this was actually pretty decent, to be honest, when it's all considered, but it reminded me of a guy who I knew that was actually a black hat hacker once upon a time, and he kind of got cornered by the FBI, the bit actually pretty much threatened him, but he ended up kind of negotiating with them and ended up doing some work for them to enhance their cybersecurity.
He pulled a Frank Abagnale Jr. Real catch me if you can.
That's right.
Well, honestly, we don't know if this didn't happen, and when I think of what Doomerfest, all these incel festivals that invited Eggy, was Eggy an undercover agent there to prevent chaos? I don't know. There's no proof confirming or denying.
Yeah, Eggy, what is the least thing that would make you turn? The least amount of money, the least promised?
To become the Uncle Tom of the Doomer community?
Right.
Well, I think it's that I'm too cynical and too callous to really you might say I'm a little bit having a defiant streak to where I just don't ever want to cooperate with anybody. So they probably would have to do something pretty significant to... but at the same time, I don't know, sometimes I just get kind of mad at these people anyway, and I would do it for nothing. But most of the time, 99% of the time, what I always say, you can't negotiate out of an abusive relationship. Your abuser's always going to try to get up on you, so you got to defend yourself.
And in this case, the abuser is the United States government.
It always has been, am I right?
Eggy, is this the only Mission Impossible movie you've seen? Did you jump in at the very end?
It was at the time. It was sort of implied to me. I didn't, I was doing a little bit of research to make sure I had all my pieces together for the podcast today. And I guess this is directly related closely to the previous film. I had not seen it. I might have possibly missed some things as a result.
Well, honestly, not so much. I think it was good to skip the 7 movies because the first hour of this movie recaps the entire series.
I was going to say, you were in luck because they made a movie explicitly for people who did not see the last movie, and they catch you up on everything that you could possibly need in the first hour, so yeah.
Yeah, Eggy, would it shock you to learn that this movie was originally titled Dead Reckoning Part 2?
Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Yeah, they changed the name because nobody saw Part 1. I mean, me and Rich and Florian sure did, but...
Yeah.
I did actually last night. I went ahead and watched the original film from 1996.
Oh, hell yeah.
I did enjoy that. I might have enjoyed it more than this. This movie has its moments, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, something that when it's fresh, it just hits different.
Well, I mean, like, out of all of the movies to watch, paired with the last one, the first one, and it's more the first one than anything, is probably the best thing to watch.
There's a loose connection to the third one with the rabbit's foot.
The rabbit's foot thing,
now is relevant for no reason, but that's fine. Why not?
Yeah.
I would say I binged all of them in the last month because I have not seen most of them, and I was anticipating this movie because I'm becoming a Tom Cruise stan, and I like what he's trying to do to save Hollywood. And my opinion as I watched them was each successive one was better than the previous, going up to number 6, Fallout, and then step down for Dead Reckoning Part 1, and then this is a little bit of a step down from that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And that, like, I love the meta reading of these movies, which is that, like, especially starting with the fourth one, where at the very beginning, Tom Cruise lets himself out of movie jail and then continues upon being a big movie star. And then definitely when he's fighting AI, I'd say that there's some subtext there that they're trying to layer in. But I think that works better as that metaphorical Tom versus the things trying to tear up Hollywood and destroy it better than an actual movie villain. So I don't like the entity very much as an enemy. Should
we talk about the meta narrative of Tom Cruise and Chris McQuarrie's last 3 films, starting with Maverick? Because
okay.
Yeah, because I think the meta of that is Tom saying, hey, we're relying too much on like CGI bullshit. Like the star of the movie is now the special effects. It's not meant to be that way. The magic of movies is seeing a real person on screen doing a real thing, and the CGI should only be used to erase the safety harness that's connecting me to this biplane. That's what the CGI should only be used for. I guess that's more for this new movie, but still, that's the message of Top Gun Maverick. We have all these actors actually flying these planes and doing these stunts. Yeah. And then, of course, with AI in these last 2 movies, Tom says, "Oh boy, I thought CGI artists were bad. Uh-oh, now it's getting out of control." And in this movie, I've seen people complain that the pickpocket has to snatch the thing in 100 milliseconds. And it's like, yeah, the idea is a computer could easily do these things, but Tom is saying we need to find the most talented people on Earth to do things on screen. Who cares if a computer can do it? I want to see a human do it.
A hot woman snatch a fucking thing off of the flash drive.
Now, maybe that's not a great example as it's done in the movie, because, I mean, it's boring to watch her just grab a thing, and it's like a fantasy power, but Tom Cruise is literally doing almost everything that he's doing in the movie.
I mean, one of my problems with this movie is that, other than Tom, many of the characters don't really have much to do in the movie beyond sit around, try to defuse various bombs that the bad guys have set up, and kind of just explain to Tom how impossible what he's about to do is, which the other movies have definitely had those things, but we've gotten a great background cast of characters who actually feel like they're doing things, like Ilsa, who was killed in the last movie and apparently is dead because she doesn't show up in this one. And they just don't seem to be doing very much. The villainous character from last movie, who's now like part of the team in this movie, basically has no personality anymore. She was like so fun in that one, and now she's just like a background player.
She's identical to the really mute boring girl in The Boys. I almost thought it was the same character.
Yeah, it's really depressing. Instead of mute, she's French. So.
And was she hotter in the last movie? Did she have better outfits last time?
Yeah, she had better outfits. She had like better like stuff to do. She was crazy in that one. She was driving a big ass truck through.
Yeah, laughing her ass off as she destroys property.
Yeah, they like gave that to fucking Gabriel in this movie instead. But like they should have had her doing like crazy shit. Like they should have just deployed her for that shit. Like she should have been a distraction. She should have been what they used against the entity as like either something that he couldn't expect, or I don't know. It just seems like in this movie they've like dropped any pretext of like the entity trying to manipulate anyone or the entity like as something they had to outsmart. They always just say, "Oh, this is what the entity wouldn't expect," and then it just works out exactly how they want it for the most part.
I did get a funny text from Eggy saying, I think this Gabriel guy might have had a big role in the previous movie. Eggy, did you watch that one? Do you have more context on your favorite Gabriel now?
No, I probably would have maybe been the right thing, but I just thought to myself, if there's something I want to sit down and watch that's Mission Impossible, I feel like I want to see where did it all start from, what was the idea from the very beginning, because then it's also based on a TV show, so then I'm like, okay, well, I think I ain't going to go that far back, but I kind of said, let me get the basic the basic foundation of the character and like what is he doing, what's his whole thing.
Well, my advice to you would be, I don't dislike number 2, but I really like Benji, the Simon Pegg of it. So if anything, skip to 3, and then once you get to 4, 5, and 6, you're gonna just want to binge them all.
That's when it really picks up for me. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you, as this often does happen, discussing the whole meta context with the AI here, because that definitely does add another level of depth for me to appreciate with the film. I think that, AI, it's a big thing these days, and it could very easily be used sort of ironically as a plot point to kind of just fill gaps, like, oh, it's just AI, it's going to do things we can't comprehend, and it's going to do all these terrible things. It didn't feel contrived, though, in the film for me, because it's like, all right, it seemed plausible enough that if there was something that AI was going to be able to do to cause this destruction, it would be, like a malware that could compromise all these governments. We've seen things at a smaller scale. I think the Department of Defense website got hacked at one time, and we're seeing maybe in this film the leadership that is presented to us for the countries in the current age. They might not be the greatest leadership that we've ever seen in our lifetimes or in the last few hundred years or whatever. So if we've kind of had a more relaxed way of going about things, we've allowed more vulnerabilities to form, it would really be the perfect opportunity for an artificial intelligence that is maybe more up to speed than our human counterparts to be able to exploit those vulnerabilities. So it seemed like, maybe on paper it was kind of easy enough script to put together with that problem, but I think that the way that they did end up putting it together was enjoyable enough.
And in terms of AI influencing art, Eggy, we were just texting about this morning, but is it Google? Who was it that have the new audio video prompt thing?
Well, I saw it on Zitter, I think Friday, but it had been posted on Thursday, but it was some new Model 3 of something, if it was by Facebook or Google. Maybe it was Google.
Yeah, and I saw videos of it of just like people in unison chanting things, and it did seem pretty close to real and lifelike and photorealistic. And it makes you think if movies being produced in Hollywood and seen by large audiences will even be a thing in the future. I have to imagine within 10 years I can type in a prompt and get my own custom Ryan Gosling as George Floyd movie made, and like the AI will just make a full movie and it'll be indistinguishable from human art other than being soulless, of course. Is that what Tom Cruise is truly afraid of? Is that his version of this nuclear Armageddon? Is that human actors and movies go away completely?
I think that, it would definitely make sense for somebody from his position, but a lot of just standard hobbyists, artists, and actors and things even that don't make a living off of it have been kind of echoing this sentiment. People who are not of the creative mindset or who do not make a living with something to do with entertainment pretty much don't seem to really care at all. You do have the ecological standpoint where artificial intelligence data centers are allegedly using like trillions times more electricity than anything else on the entire planet. So maybe if there's anything that's going to stop the standard recreational use of artificial intelligence, it might end up being an ecological standpoint that restricts it. But since they're building these giant data centers right now all over the country, they probably would have not been building them if that was the case. So might be hard to say, but yeah, I think it would be definitely devastating to Mr. Cruise, especially above the average person.
Yeah, at what point?
I think.
Oh, go ahead, Rich.
Sorry, I think one of the threats is like Tom Cruise is like a mass entertainer, so he's entertaining large groups of people who all kind of want to see the same thing.
Box
And
office
AI
disagrees.
Oh, really? I mean, the movie was made for an insane amount of money.
It was 400 million. There's no way it's making its money back.
Yeah.
The last two are flops.
Right. The movie got made. That's what.
Yeah.
Wait, the last two were not. Fallout was not a flop.
No, part
Fallout
one.
Successful. Okay. Yeah. But like, what AI promises is that everyone will have like their own like specific bespoke entertainment that like you cannot relate to anyone else about. It's like atomizing everything down to like individual taste, and you can tell your friend what the AI dreamed up for you, but you'll have very little to relate to everyone else.
You don't think my YouTube feed will just turn into what AI movie I watched this morning? Let's see if anybody else likes it.
I don't know. I mean, like, why would anyone else care about yours if they had theirs?
If I'm making, imagine I evolved from reviewing every Medea movie to making better Medea movies.
Making your own Medea movies?
Yeah, like literally just, I can make my own script and they will turn it into the movie for me. I could beat him at his own game.
I mean, Tyler Perry has a very lucrative studio where he makes these movies for like the cheapest you could possibly make something. AI promises
he's mostly paying
to do
himself
even cheaper. Yes.
Like most of the budget is to pay himself.
Then I have to think, what level does like scarcity and effort put into a project sort of present the desirability to engage with the project. So like right now, back in the day, if you wanted to draw 100 stick figures, you'd have 100 pieces of paper, and with your pencil and do it. Now you can just do a JPEG and have like a trillion pictures of stick figures on your computer. So maybe they're not as tangible as these pictures were before. If you're able to start putting together an entire feature-length motion picture with some sentences and some prompts, and maybe interject a new prompt every 5-10 minutes or whatever to keep the plot moving along, and people can just do this like 1,000 times a day and churn out 1,000 movies a day, this is going to basically bring us to like a peak saturation of content, quote unquote, to consume, to where it might just make what we're familiar with in digital media just become completely irrelevant, and we all end up. We've seen some of this now where people are sort of hobbyists or hipsters might be utilizing old forms of physical media as more desirable than digital media. But are we going to see that basically come to a greater peak where it's just, too repetitive with all this AI generated stuff? Because I kind of feel that way about anytime I see AI generated art with all the weird shadowing and stuff, I immediately have to take a second look at what I'm looking at, because I'm thinking it might be some kind of like Bitcoin harvesting scam that's being pumped out and stuff like that.
But I imagine the technology will improve that within a decade. You won't even know you're looking at AI art ever again. There will be no way to know.
That's fair.
But if it only exists by regurgitating other things, and then nobody's ever making original art again, what is it regurgitating at that point?
No, yeah, you're just gonna get the same kind of stuff all the time. Which I know people will probably say that, like, well, the Disney remakes are basically that same kind of thing.
Yeah, it's true. I want to do away with all of it. AI
Right.
slop art and human slop art. It all needs to go. Let's only do good art.
Yeah.
In some cases, I think AI art has more value than some of these Disney remakes.
All I'm saying is Disney never had a, buff bodybuilding kitten rescuing old women from the burning building like I saw in that one video, and that was pretty kino.
AI wrote a biography for Colonel Eggy Eggsworth, the Devil of the Confederacy, and that article made me laugh more than any Disney remake.
Wow.
That's right.
So Tom Cruise, you're wrong. The Entity is good because it made me giggle, so give it control of the nukes.
I mean, so Mumpy, do you like that the plot of this movie is the Entity trying to like launch everyone's nukes and then kind of just hide out.
Yeah, if you need your
I
final
wish there
movie to
was-
have the ultimate stakes, what's bigger than total
that
human
really is the
annihilation?
ultimate stakes. I wish we had an idea of what it wanted to do after that, because it just it was just gonna hide like in that archive place, and I just wish there was something deeper to that AI. Like what is it trying to do with the world?
Well, there is a 5-minute scene when Tom Cruise goes inside the capsule and like
I did see that.
He goes into its brain. I think we might have to watch that at like 0.001 speed to see all the images rapid flashing, because maybe there's like hidden message of its true plan in there, because there's a lot of shit that it showed him.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I should say before we get deeper into this movie that I missed several exits while trying to attend this movie, and so I missed the first probably 10 minutes of it. So like I came in right as the like opening credits bit was ending. So I don't know how much preamble there was. I know that they revealed that the rabbit's foot was the entity, or an
So
early
you didn't
version
see
of
it
the
when Tom
entity or
Cruise took
something?
the cyanide pill that was hidden in his tooth?
Nope.
It was
did
a
not
good
see
trick,
that.
because then it was a fake cyanide pill that just made him foam at the mouth so that they would untie him, and then he beats everybody up.
That's funny. And then so I guess like the entity and Gabriel had a falling out at the beginning of that part, that he was then working against it, or was that kind of like very quickly after that?
Egg, I'll let you take that one.
Well, I wanted to inject something here that I happened to see when I was doing my little reading up here to try and get my best understanding of the film. It's just a couple of sentences here. But there was an anonymous poster on an image board. He said that this film it implements a writing technique called inverted hermeneutic, and that it's a biblical film. The AI entity is an evil, aka inverted god, hell-bent on Armageddon and exterminating mankind. Gabriel is Jesus. He is described as a dark messiah. He's after the key, which is in a crucifix shape, which he will use to unleash Armageddon. He has his own Judas in Paris who betrays him. So,
Yeah, I saw readings of people saying Tom Cruise was calling himself movie Jesus by carrying this crucifix, but I like that interpretation way more.
I'm confused. He's Jesus, but he like wants that cross to.
It's a darkened version of the tale.
Okay.
yeah, so he's like, it's all inverted. So instead of like God and Jesus like bringing salvation or whatever, it's Armageddon because mankind. I mean, listen, all I'm saying is maybe they might deserve it sometimes. It is what it is.
And interesting, the movie ends with the entity being trapped in its prison flash drive. It's handed to Tom Cruise, and then the movie's over. Like, every government in the world wants this so that they can be the all-powerful one. Tom Cruise, I assume, is going to destroy it, but the Christopher Nolan ambiguity at the end here of what is Ethan Hunt going to do with the entity, we don't know. And is this truly the end?
But yeah, if this is the final reckoning, it kind of doesn't matter, right? Like, if this is the last one, and like if the box office is not as great as it needs to be, I very much doubt they'll keep making these. I don't think we'll ever learn anything about that.
But there is the fact that we don't see it destroyed, and we keep harping on, oh, Ethan, you're the only one in the world I would trust with this. You're the only one with good, noble intentions for humanity, to make the good sacrifices. Does Ethan use this to become the benevolent god of the world? Is that not a possibility here? To keep everybody
I think
truly safe?
It's probably possible to like just feed it information that you want it to know, and then have it predict the outcomes, or have it tell you what to do to save the world, I guess. But I kind of don't think he would do that. He's already got a team for that.
Right, but if you can rewrite any digital data, surely, and listen to every phone call, it would be the ultimate police state. Like, you would lose liberties, but it would be complete safety and freedom in other senses. And if he's the one in control of it, the never-ending story, they did not adapt this in the first movie, but halfway through, Bastian, the real boy reading the book, he goes into the book and becomes like an evil dictator over the world. Wouldn't Mission Impossible 9 and 10, wouldn't this be a better couplet ending Where Ethan goes mad with power of the entity and everybody else has to stop the ultimate mastermind, Ethan?
Well, if he has an intention to make this just a never-ending series, no relation to the never-ending story, it would be probably a good pivot for him to have some sort of corruption in that way.
Sorry, I was delayed on that one.
With him in that next picture, he's defeated or subdued in some way that could take him out of the spotlight, maybe put the spotlight on somebody else that he has a contractual obligation with to step up into his role to continue on and maybe in a different direction. I mean, listen, if James Bond could go on for like 70 years, I think that Mission Impossible, as long as this isn't a total failure, maybe even just a break even at the box office, maybe it's a possibility.
We get Jeremy Renner. We get his ex-wife, who is still alive as a doctor. We can't get Ving Rhames. He got blowed up in this one. But Benji, he survived somehow, even though he should have died.
Mm-hmm.
I think this super team and Mr. Milkcheck, the submarine captain from this movie, they should all team up to stop Ethan, who has the power of the entity under his control. That's the ultimate final couplet.
Oh man,
that's truly a Mission Impossible. The man who has done everything is now the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And he thinks what he's doing is right.
Tom Cruise has too much ego to allow himself to be the villain like that.
Well, that's why I'm saying we need AI to make this movie for me, so I can see this great film.
I didn't realize this was an AI assignment. Okay, all right.
Well, it is now.
Mission, not if you choose to accept it, but regardless of whether you choose to accept it for the AI.
Hey, you know what I like detail in this movie? When he gets this mission, it's on a VHS. Oh, you have to put it into oh man, he has to physically put it into the VCR. Oh my god, because the computer, the entity would detect it otherwise.
Yeah, the computers can't know about it. Yeah,
and it's a movie about saving filmmaking and keeping it tactile. So to have that, oh my god,
he should have gotten it on a 70mm film strip, and then he had to do a Mission Impossible at a movie theater,
and he has to crank it to watch it.
I was about to say, like the actual film reel. That's VHS is essentially the evolution of that with the reels inside the tape.
Yeah,
as Greg Turkington would say, the truest evolution of theater going technology.
Did you read his AMA?
I read one comment and it was fucking great. He loved the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, he's hopeful for more chicken jockey moments, I think. It's good for theaters and movies everywhere.
Okay, so can we break this movie down a little bit more? Because there's so many things that kind of piss me off in this. One of the things was making what's the character from the first movie that they bring back and say that the guy from the last one
found
was
the knife.
Son?
Mr. I found the knife.
Oh, that's a separate
the other guy
concern. Yeah, the guy with the puffed up hair, who I really like that actor actually, but trying to make him John Voight's son from the first movie, and he actually does nothing in this movie really. He kind of just follows Ethan around for at least part of it, and there's some amount of I hate you for killing my father, but actually they're cool at the end, so they do a big handshake and
the entity wants you to hate me. The power of friendship is the only way. No thanks, Ethan.
Does he fucking talk no jutsu? Everybody out of fucking hating him.
He tries to, but I mean, it's not until he defeats the entity that he earns the man's respect, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he tries talk no jutsu. I'm glad it didn't work.
Yeah. I just don't like that. This movie has so many callbacks to the first one, and trying to form the entire Mission Impossible franchise into one packaged product, and I hate that shit. I hate it when fucking Star Wars does that. I hate it when any other fucking franchise does that. And Mission Impossible's strength has always been that every movie has been in some way very different from the last one. The last 4 of them have been all directed by McQuarrie, obviously, but before then, every director that came to it was different and brought different positives and different negatives and different styles to it, and it made such an interesting franchise for that very reason. This is trying to like say, oh yeah, the guy that Ethan fucked over in the first one, he comes back. He's actually fine. His life has been improved by Ethan Hunt fucking over his life. Which so much of this movie is him and his wife.
His
Like,
ugly Eskimo wife? Oh my god. He was
Why?
happy with that?
Hey, you know
why
what?
is the movie that?
I'm waiting for Eggy to defend her.
She is a Iglukik Nunavut throat singer, okay? And
Oh, wow.
I thought that she was keeping it real. I wish she would have done some throat singing in the movie, but, you know, I didn't feel anything negative towards her.
Do you want to
I
try
don't-
throat singing and see if Discord will cut you off? Oh. Yeah, we're pretty good.
I think they'd accept this.
That's her mating call. E-Rich, go ahead.
But yeah, just the fact that the knife is in this, and
Yeah, why did he have that
they-
knife? Why would he have sentimental value over just a knife he found when he got robbed?
like those things would have like very little impact for a guy. Maybe he, since he like lost his job, that he feels like the knife has something to play with it. But like,
It's more
It's just
meaningful
so
to the
dumb to
audience
me.
than any character would ever
yeah,
care.
yeah, exactly. And that's the shit that I hate in movies nowadays, is like trying to make these small little objects. And the Star Wars movies do this a lot, where it's like the medal that Chewie didn't get in Episode 4 is apparently like a huge deal, and he's given a medal in Episode 9. Fuck you, JJ.
Is this a merchandising thing? Are they selling copies of this knife?
I don't know. I'm sure that would spark some sales for them, but it's just dumb. Yeah, and so like I did not see the part with the rabbit's foot, that they retconned the rabbit's foot to be that.
And he's really trying to
movie,
make Ethan feel guilty, like, because your girlfriend was kidnapped by, then what's that guy, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and you traded your girlfriend,
Davian.
you traded her for this rabbit's foot and you didn't know what it was, and it made the entity come alive. It's your fault the world will end because you didn't want to sacrifice your love.
Oh my god.
That's
sounds
what he fucked.
insane.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's bad. Convoluted. Like, I like in the third movie that he asks at the very end, what even is the rabbit's foot? And they tell him, I'm not going to tell you.
I mean, I love that boiling down of like, it actually does not matter what any of this stuff is. It's just that he's going to do insane things in order to stop it from ruining the world or destroying the world or whatever.
Is that another meta
I knew
thing
when-
on like a film script writing level? Is like, audience, you guys know this shit doesn't matter. You just want to see the stunts.
Yeah, for the most part. And yeah, I don't know, just bringing that kind of shit back is just useless to me. It wastes time. I'd rather see the characters interact with each other. I'd rather see really anything other than what they did with some of these things. So.
Here's what I wanted to see. There is one point in the movie where we are to believe the big three of Ving Rhames, Jimbo, what's his name? I said it earlier. Simon Pegg and Tom
Benji?
Cruise. Yeah, Benji. We think that all three of them are dead. And man, wouldn't it be nice if they kept it that way? How did Tom Cruise survive? Do we not see him find a secret second parachute that the flyer of the plane, the pilot, did not believe was there? And then do we not see the parachute fail and then catch on fire? And then he somehow has lived anyway? Did I miss something?
I
What,
think
that he has two
part of
parachutes?
I think it's what we're shown would lead you to believe that, and my assumption was that there was just another parachute on him, that just in case.
It's bad enough that he found one in the plane when Jericho, whatever his fucking name was.
Gabriel.
Yeah, Gabriel says, yeah, I'm the only one with the parachute. And then Tom Cruise just goes up into the plane and finds one. He jumps out and then it like catches on fire and he's falling out of the sky. He connects the flash drive to his iPad to kill the entity. And then we're to believe he Peggy Hills to the ground and survives? That's the only thing that could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, did he land in a lake?
It's a great little shock moment when his parachute starts burning up.
Yes, I thought that's how they killed him.
I actually thought he was dead. Yeah, for sure. I thought this was the final reckoning, so this was it for him.
And like that's perfect. He's flailing through the sky with a burning parachute, and even then he has to save the world and plug in this difficult thing as his final act before death. And then
and he also doesn't know whether it succeeded. He just knows that he like gave his life doing the thing that
he trusted his friends to do it. This is the most One Piece pilled franchise I can think of, other than maybe Fast and Furious, but this is slightly better.
Yeah, for sure.
And then just like One Piece, you think he's dead, and he just has some stuff drawn on him. He gets up and dusts himself off. He walks out into the public square with all of his team kind of eyeing him up like, yeah, that guy's awesome. He did it all. Then he does a nice, quick, glistening, toothpaste white smile into the camera, wink, thumbs up, and this reckoning is final. Dun, 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 dun,
I would not be shocked if Tom Cruise was a One Piece fan, because the themes of the story and how all the members of the crew have to like do their very best at the exact same time to fulfill the plan. Like, it's very One Piece coded, very Nakama, I care about my friends more than the rest of the world coded, and I would take that bet. I honestly would. I want to ask.
I think they just have similar ethos. I don't think that.
You don't think Tom Cruise has heard of the most popular, like the 7th most sold story in world history? There's no chance.
There's a chance, but it's very slim.
Listen, Tom Cruise is the man. He eats, sleeps, breathes, couch jumps, pure kinography. He's got his heart and soul dedicated to true art.
Every time we watch UFC, there's like a guy doing Luffy shit. Like, people, cool guys care.
It's possible that he was there in theaters watching One Piece Film Red and was like
eating his popcorn.
One Piece. Yeah, movies, popcorn, One Piece movies.
He did the signature clap and point at the screen.
Tom Cruise in a One Piece movie. If we see him in One Piece season 4, I mean, that would have to confirm it if he shows up as Eneru.
Oh, for sure.
If they can't get Eminem.
All right, new life's mission. I need to go to the next red carpet that Tom Cruise is walking on, disguise myself as press just to ask him if he knows One Piece.
Is this ethical AI? After Netflix cancels One Piece after season 3, which I know they're going to do, would it be bad if future AI just makes the rest of the seasons for us? Because it's not like somebody else is going to make
the rest of it. Honestly, that's probably the only way that will happen. It was insane that they even started making that One Piece live action show, just because there's so much of it that no matter what you do, you're never going to finish that. Like, you just never are.
Oda might not even finish.
It's going to be like 15 years older by the time you'd even be like 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah, when they had the Luffy origin story in season 1, and they have like a 9-year-old kid playing Luffy. Who's gonna play Luffy in the other childhood flashbacks? Because that kid's the age of Luffy now. He's literally like 17 now.
Although maybe you like put them on like a treadmill where it's like Inaki Godoy, or however you say his name, eventually will be old enough to play old Luffy. You get the kid who played him originally to play him. At a certain point, you just switch over.
Yeah, like the new Dewey. Just find somebody or just hope that he looks close enough when he grows up. Are we going to podcast about the new Malcolm?
Movie? Yeah, I mean, I would do that.
You're a big Malcolm
head?
Is
it a limited series?
I think it's 4 episodes, and then if it's successful, they'll continue.
Really? 4 episodes?
And basically every single supporting cast member is confirmed, so I don't like the idea of that. Like, oh, we're getting 2 hours of content, and every character's going to have time to show up? Like, do we have time for a story with that?
I mean, what they should have done is just focus on making 4 really good Malcolm in the Middle episodes, and don't worry about including everyone in it. But
yeah, I guess it's I guess you want to have a big revival of the cast, or reunion.
Do you think the show should be exactly the same as what? Like it should just the exact same format, the exact same kind of like.
I still want Malcolm.
Everyone acts the same.
Malcolm still needs to be talking to the camera. But I don't know if I want him to be successful in life, or everybody else in his family is, and he's the one who's a failure.
And he's not, yeah.
That might be the best.
That'd be funny.
Like Reese will be a chef, Dewey will be an orchestra guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, what else pissed me off in this movie?
Hey, what about stuff that made you happy? Did you not love the claustrophobic scene of him inside the missile chute, and he has to take off his outfit and freeze in this Arctic water to even get out of this sinking submarine? That shit got me good.
So I have another confession to make, which is
that
I fell asleep during that first set piece. I had no idea. I woke up and he was kind of like positioning himself around some kind of like container that was like filled with water, and like it was moving around. I was so confused. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I'm going to see this movie again tomorrow. I need to give it its fair shake because there's only fucking 2 set pieces in this movie and I missed one.
Yeah.
So
basically, as soon as Mr. Milchick was off screen, you fell asleep.
Basically, yeah. Like I got all of the like preamble to the actual stunt. Like I got the plan for what they were gonna do. I think he started to do it, and I was fucking so fucking tired. I just fell asleep. So yeah.
Well,
it's like it pisses me off that there's only 2 in this movie. Like this is the final reckoning. This is the last one. They're like, as far as I understand it, they're good. I mean, the biplane set piece was good, but I don't think it's the best one. It's like, I think the Fallout helicopter chase is better than the biplane thing.
Oh, definitely. Eggy?
Well, I was going to say, E-Rich, I'm going to both support you, but also condemn you for, I'm going to give my reasons here. I'll give you the bad news first. I just, to get my kind of atmospheric bearings, I just went through and parsed through this film 10 seconds per click on Cinebee. I won't say anything more incriminating than that, but it took about like 5 minutes.
I think that's how Hans watches movies for the Movies podcast.
Probably. But I will also support you in the fact that I think the recapping portion of this film at the beginning, I want to say it was probably within memory the hardest thing for me to watch in a cinema. Like my mind,
the opening hour is so fucking
my mind was doing a lot of drifting, and it was so much the opposite, which is why I'm kind of feeling middle of the road for this film overall, and maybe I'll give it a little bit of an extra edge for the practical action sequences that are in the second half. I do appreciate those very much. But yeah, like it was kind of had to grit my teeth a little bit. I was kind of going in for the popcorn just so I was chewing on it and kind of like keeping my brain going, because they're just talking a lot of stuff that for me.
There's so many scenes of Angela Bassett and her fucking like cabinet of generals and stuff like that. And like I feel like I've been broken by movies now, where it's like when they have scenes like that in movies and people are just kind of relaying the same information over and over again, and like things have only slightly changed. Like every time the entity takes over a country's nukes, they cut back to that and they're like, we're now at DEFCON 2 and it's taken over China's nukes or something like that. Like, I just don't give a shit. Like, I want to see crazy action stunts. And like, I know that they're trying to establish stakes. They're trying to like say things are gonna get worse. They're technically building up the stakes, but like I know that those are the stakes. Stop repeating the stakes to me.
Yeah, you have this sort of like command center with President Kamala and Ron Swanson. Guys, they're just watching like colors on the countries change, and then they say, basically, we're gonna need to pretty much sacrifice like a major city center in America, like by doing like a premature detonation or whatever that's going to kill this many people, but it's going to save the entire world. And I think they benefited a lot to have had even just like, didn't even have to be 30 seconds of just cuts of like major city centers where people bring some like texture into the situation, because we're getting just this very cold, like bureaucratic positioning on it. Like, yes, there should be tension here based on what they're telling us, but we're just not really getting that, experiencing it through what they're presenting to us on screen. I think they could have done more there.
I have a question about Angela Bassett's plan here. So they're
Yeah.
going to nuke all the other countries with nukes before they can get nuked. But then they say, we have to nuke one of our own cities as well. Now, is that to trick the other countries into thinking the entity is doing all this? Or is that just to be fair, we'll also nuke our own people so that Israel
I
can't
think
get
it was-
mad?
Yeah, I think it was that, to be fair. Like,
That's
we're not
insane!
just going to I know.
What
I know
the
it
fuck?
I
This
know
is
it
an adult
but it's
movie?
like, you need to convince everyone else that like you're not just fucking them over.
Imagine
But-
if for Hiroshima we thought we should also nuke Texas, just to be fair. Under no circumstance. Are you
That is
kidding?
my understanding of it. But Eggy, is that the impression you got?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
That
It's-
sucks.
I want to know.
it was just very nonsensical. Like, it just was like, okay, I'm willing to, but this was like not something that necessarily took me out of the film because these people, I don't know, they might be fucking stupid. Like, they're politicians. All they know how to do is to like worship Satan and eat human parlors. So
Yeah, is
I
this
don't know.
realistic? If Kamala was actually in office and this was happening, that she probably would be considering, well, just to be fair, we should probably
I mean,
bomb.
When Angela Bassett started asking about the adrenochrome stores in the bunker, I don't know.
Make sure we don't bomb Israel because they have all the adrenochrome.
They flash to Israel's nukes so many times. It's so funny.
Hey, you know what? Everybody's got love for the Israel nukes, but the Indian nukes don't get any love. Shout out to all the Indians. They're basically the same as Israel to me.
And France has no business. They're becoming a majority Muslim state. I'm surprised Israel isn't taking away their nukes.
But I was going to just to speak to the fact that I could definitely see the leadership being so incompetent and that them nuking their own cities just to like, oh, chill out, everybody, we're going to kill us too. That's also kind of plays into the larger picture of like, yeah, I could definitely see just like some above average AI being able to compromise like multiple countries' entire systems in the future, just because we're having right now all of our doctors and lawyers and rocket scientists are just Googling ChatGPT to pass every single one of their classes. So, ChatGPT's getting all of it, basically figuring out how to get over on them to begin with. And as soon as they're all up there in the leadership position, that's when everything's going to start locking up and locking down. So, seems legitimate to me.
So perhaps for the best if AI becomes the president one day.
Hey, you know what? I'll give it a try. Got my vote.
It can't be as corrupt as any human.
At least it would be a change of pace, like kind of like, I don't want to say I'm a sore loser, but when you're stealing all my money all the time, you know what? Let's give the robot all my money once and see what happens. That's all I'm saying.
The robot can't
Put it
be
all in the
bribed by
robot.
billionaires. Like, the robot would be like, oh yeah, we take money from the billionaires, share with their... Like, they would just make it like socialist and not care. Because there's no bribes to change their mind.
And there might be some angle that we can't understand yet that's deep in the, the network, the framework somewhere. But like I said, the way I live my life, I never think more than about 5 minutes ahead in the future with the decisions I make. So I'm ready to press any red buttons just to see how it's going to go.
Should we do a video where ChatGPT decides every single thing Eggy does for a day, and then we film him also making his
How he
own
lives his
choices
life?
of what he
And
does?
If it's gonna improve his life.
Yeah, which day was
Does he
better?
just live a day by prompt?
What do you think, Eggy? Do you want everybody to see what happens when you choose what to do all day?
I think they could probably guess to begin with. But
Like the worst case scenario you guys can imagine, it's worse.
yeah. Microwave spaghettios and laying in bed with no clothes, watching YouTube video essays all day, and then getting up just to gamble, and then going back. And
His daily
Watching
exercise
people
is
gamble on
walking
YouTube.
to the gambling room.
Uh-huh.
my daily exercise is walking to Walmart to peruse the clearance rack. Hey, you know what? It might not be glamorous, everybody, but it's a good life, though. I gotta say.
Hey, better than working 10 hours a day, huh, you rich?
Well, okay, so I've got a question for you, Eggy. Does the casino kind of ambiance, or just the
No,
fact
it's
that you're there
online.
with a bunch of other people. Oh, it's entirely online. I guess that answers my question. I was gonna say if they could do a casino that was just for you and it was like just a like little walled off room with all of the different games you wanted to play, you would just go there and do that rather than go to an actual casino, right? But if it's online gambling, that's already answered for me.
The casino, it's a really beautiful place because I always have felt like this for at least a handful of years. I feel like the world that we live in, it can be a very cruel world, but there's no crueler place for most of us than inside a casino. You will see such levels of
human wreckage,
rage,
right?
misery, lust, greed. It's truly like the Sodom and Gomorrah of our time, encapsulated in this bright, musical, well-ventilated, perfectly to every molecule is controlled for the most addicting experience. It's really a thing of beauty. And it's like in a sterile world, it is the volatile element. But yeah, if I don't have to go drive out there, I could just win hundreds of dollars a day on my computer. That's how I prefer it.
Okay.
The computer pays out way better.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah, we
Eggy
have,
only plays the guaranteed win games. He's not even gambling his own money.
Wow.
They try to get me, but no, yeah, I'm up $1,200 clocked it this weekend. $1,200.
Do they give you credits for it, and then you like are just using the credits that they give you, or?
Basically, yeah, the idea is
Like by signing up, you get a certain amount of money, and then
the thing that the online casinos have that the real ones don't is you get like a depositing bonus basically, and then you also get like so much free every day also, and then yeah, but you basically all you got to do to be able to redeem it is you do have to play through it once. So people don't get the memo. They just go and gamble it all and lose it all. I just do the the playthrough and I tabulate. I keep everything calculated to make sure that I'm only playing the exact minimum required to, cash out my free extra bonuses I get on a daily basis, and that's how I do it. They try and figure out ways to keep you eventually from getting those bonuses, but then we figure out how to get them back through. We have like a dedicated team of like 200 gambling degenerates online that all strategize together and works out pretty good.
okay.
Talk about Mission Impossible Underground, Ghost Protocol societies. Eggy has infiltrated yet another one, and Casino Bros, he's about to shut you down.
Now that would have been if I did make a video about it. I think because
It would have been game over.
A couple of the casinos, yeah, they did get like shut, or they basically shut off like all their bonuses, and there were guys making tons of money that suddenly were making zero, and they were furious and wanted to like attack anybody that had visibility of revealing what was going on. So probably good that I didn't make a explicit video about it like I thought about doing, but hey, it is what it is.
Hey, let's rapid fire other points from the movie, good or bad things that we don't want to go on a whole speech about, if there's anything left.
The planes.
Yeah, the biplane sequence is really good.
Is that too cartoony?
Tom is dangling off of it.
I
think the
specifically when Tom's biplane is flying directly under Gabriel's, and Gabriel's like, "Oh, I don't know where he is." Like, how do you get under the dude? Can they not hear at all? Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't quite understand why he had a second plane there. Like, if that's your big plan and you're like, Ethan Hunt is coming to stop me, why would you even have a second
He
plane?
says, yeah, I have a second one just in case, and then it's just some old man flying behind him. Like, just in case of what? What's going to happen that you can switch planes in midair?
Right. I really don't know. So
It's stupid.
I mean,
you just got to allow these things so the sequence can go out.
If there was like a misfire or something or one didn't go, I guess I could see it. But yeah, it's obviously very coincidentally fortunate for plot reasons. But yeah, the action was so good there. And then also I liked when Simon Pegg, after he's been injured and he needs to stay stable in order to give the proper direction for capturing the entity in this split second and everything. Having just watched The Pit this last year with all the surgical stuff, the fact that she that he was able to recover from his lungs filling by having this straw basically punctured into his chest. From what I saw in that TV series, which was allegedly medically accurate, that was pretty legit. So,
and Benji did say, "Blimey, good thing I watched The Pit."
Just like Dr. Robbie.
I love Dr. Robbie.
Dr. Robbie is an American hero. All right. What is... So I actually did not like Haley Atwell in this movie very much. I feel like a lot of the time that she's on screen, she's just kind of monotone, saying how impossible things are, or I don't know. There's so many parts when I was watching the movie that I was like, isn't there anything else for you to do? Don't you didn't you do stuff in the last movie? She was a pickpocket. She was I don't know. I feel like they don't have any point for any of these other characters, so they're literally just talking to a bunch of Russian soldiers, or they're defusing a bomb, or doing other shit while Ethan actually does the Missions Impossible. It's just...
Yeah, at some point
the
these
team
movies
aspect is so lost in this.
There are too many bomb defusing scenes, especially in these last two movies. There's a shit ton. And I feel like they need to think of a different activity that's stressful.
Something more creative. And something that uses the entire team. Really, at a certain point, they just need Benji to be shot so that Paris can take care of him and make sure he's not going to die. Which that was all right, but
and at least make defusing the bomb creative. In the last one, he had to solve riddles, and that was pretty cool. But in this one, it's just watching a guy magically know what wires to cut. It means nothing to the viewer. I'm not impressed that he magically knows how to defuse a bomb he just found.
Mm-hmm. What is the... I'm trying to think. I don't know. I was going to say something now. I completely forgot it.
Eggy, any other points before we wrap up?
Well, my overview on the film is, as somebody who did not have experiences with the previous entries, it was, like I said, it was a tough start. Maybe felt like there was a lot coming at me that I wasn't familiar with, but once it got it kind of into its groove and its rhythm, the action started picking up, much more enjoyable. I would say maybe a 4 out of 10 in that first part, going into a 6.5 out of 10 in the second part, maybe equals out about a light 6 out of 10 for me. If you're into the sort of global espionage, chaos, nuclear apocalypse on the horizon, little cyber tech hacking with some action, it's got all the points there. Everything is really, covered in this sort of film that you would expect. It's just that beginning part being a little bit heavy and a little bit off the mark for me as a new person to the series. Maybe it was better that they did have it. Maybe I got more information that I needed, but it was just a little bit tough to get through at first. I would say if you've watched the other parts of the film, or the other films prior, maybe you'll enjoy this more. Otherwise, it's a fine action film. I'm kind of middle on the fence about recommending it at the moment. I'm not sure if I could really say one way or the other.
Well, here's why I would recommend everybody watch Fallout. Okay, here's some scenes.
Yep.
They get Wolf Blitzer to do it, but it's really Benji in a mask to do a fake news broadcast telling a terrorist in the hospital that his mission to blow up every holy site, like the Mecca and all this shit, that he was successful to trick him. That's a great scene. We've got they're skydiving, but then Superman gets struck by lightning, and Ethan has to like dramatically save him as they're falling to their deaths. Another amazing scene, and it was all for naught because that dude betrays him and tries to kill him and is the bad guy. Right. So it was so dramatic.
That guy's the villain, John Lark.
Every fucking choice in that movie, every set piece, the bathroom fight scene, the helicopters at the end. That is the best action movie almost of all time. I can't think of something more exhilarating than that.
These movies used to have action throughout them. So there were connecting points. There were points where it was okay, we got to get from here to here. People are going to say stuff, and then we get to the next action beat. This movie only has 2 set pieces, and I cannot tell you how, despite all of the, legacy movie nonsense, despite all of the, just endless exposition, telling you what the stakes of the movie are again and again and again. The thing that I keep coming back to is there are only 2 set pieces in this movie, and like I have to see the first one for sure. Like maybe that'll like seal everything up, and I'll be like, yeah, great movie. But
it's mostly him going from room to room in the submarine,
in that submarine or whatever.
It's very little action.
I even saw some of that stuff. Like it's just. That is not what I want out of a Mission Impossible movie. I need more. I need to see Tom Cruise doing insane shit in fucking Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. He's like infiltrating the Kremlin, and they've got this cool screen that they set up where every time you look at it, it will photograph a different angle behind it so that they could sneak past the guards. Like there's all of this cool shit throughout these
and that
movies.
Was definitely a Brad Bird idea, right? Because he did The Incredibles, so he's into like cool tech and gadgets. They should bring him on as a consultant for this stuff.
Right, and like just use cool gadgets. You like have things to like break into, have things to like get. This movie feels like they did a lot of the front loading of what would be a cool set piece in the first movie, and they just didn't have enough in this one. Like they should have just made one movie in that case if this is what we ended up with. It's just I wonder if somebody can edit these things down.
The fan edit to make it like 3.5 hours. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
With the train scene like somewhere towards the 2/3 mark, because you can chop off most of this movie.
Yeah, right. You could probably pick up on the submarine because that's what they wanted to do at the end of the last one. Just pick up back on the submarine. You don't have to do all the aircraft carrier shit where he's like talking to Hannah Waddingham for some reason. What is the deal with her in this movie? She got a card or something that said some date in 1996, and I assume it's some kind of tie back to the first movie.
They explain it. It's their backstory is that because authority wouldn't make like a hard decision, people they loved died, and it's like a reminder of let's make the hard decision and go for it. It has nothing to do with like the lore. Like it's all just made up for this movie.
Okay. Why was 1996 on there?
That's the year that the event happened.
Yeah, but that was when the first movie took place. Was that the event?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I just figured since that was when the first movie was
that
set,
might be a coincidence.
It was something tied to the first
was
movie.
Was it like the release date of the film? Right. Was that the reference?
Maybe. Jesus fucking Christ. I hate that shit so much. But whatever. Yeah, if this movie had more going for it, I could probably recommend it. Could probably say, Tom is saving cinemas. I love him. And you should come out for it. But this was such a disappointment for me. I still do need to see that first sequence, but it's such a letdown compared to really everything else. Even Dead Reckoning is better now in retrospect compared to this. Like Definitely. That actually had like a bunch of sequences I liked. That had like at least the entity stuff, if not dramatically compelling, was at least like conceptually interesting. Whereas in this one, he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna nuke everything, and that's my goal. That's what I want to do. So like he was manipulating people in the last one. And as much as it was just kind of like a back and forth between those characters, while the entity was kind of like menacingly in the background, that was at least something. They had something going on there. I don't know. I feel like the studio got involved. They were like, all of this entity shit, get it the fuck out of here. You gotta like let people know what happened in the last movie, make it as simple as possible, make the stakes as high as possible, and then you can have your set pieces, and then you can have your Mission Impossible movie. So the first hour of this movie is all like callbacks to the first couple movies in the series and fucking exposition and setting things up. And I'm tired of that shit. Stop it. It's not so well done that I'm like on the edge of my seat. I don't care about Angela Bassett. I don't care about the fucking president of the United States, Kamala Harris, having to fucking nuke a city or whatever. And they don't even tell us what city she was going to nuke.
No, and that's what it should have been, is like all of the fluff of Nick Offerman like getting a gun and then you think he's going to betray. Cut all that out. I want to see the discussion of like which city to nuke, and I want to hear every explanation of why the city would be the best. Like, oh, we could, we don't need those voters for the next election anyway. That would have been good.
And it's kind of a little bit like unfortunate because they're like the conversation and the dialogue. They're like, okay, it's going to be this many millions or whatever. So, well, it's going to have to be, where it's going to have to be, and then they just never actually name anything. Like they're like,
doesn't that always mean New York?
Piss somebody off. Like, get somebody who is in San Francisco or something to be like, God damn it, they're going to nuke my fucking city.
They should have had the nonchalance of that scene in Oppenheimer where it's like, no, I like to go on vacation there. My kids like Disney World.
Yeah, right.
We can't do Florida.
Right. Oh, man. Oppenheimer, there's a real movie for you.
I think we covered this movie pretty good, and everybody knows our stance on it. I gave it 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd because while it is lost in its own sauce, I enjoy the flavor enough that I don't mind getting overdosed.
Enough of it there. Mm-hmm.
So
I would have given it a 2.5 without having seen some of the sequences that I missed. I will watch this movie again tomorrow, and I will tell you what I think of it then.
Is Purple Colonel
I'll
doing
review
this?
it on Letterboxd.
Are you guys gonna? Because I want to hear you and Florian hash it out.
Have we gotten a Florian review on it yet?
He, I remember his review from the first one, so I'll have to double check. But I don't think he's seen this one yet. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll ask if they plan to see it.
Eggy, anything you want to plug?
Well, I just happened to notice a new documentary that was in my algorithm, so I don't know if I could recommend it yet, but just in case anybody out there is socially conscious, okay, you want to stay up on the current events.
Oh, I know what this is.
It's got to release it at 2025. I don't know if I have an exact month or time on it here, but Backlash, the murder of George Floyd. I'm about to probably watch that immediately after this podcast concludes. So anybody out there who wants to stay up to date with the current social meta, just like how this...
Do you know the perspective of the filmmakers on this? Because it could go either way.
Maybe, I don't know if I have it here. I probably do. 1 second.
They acknowledge it was murder, but are they mad at the backlash that resulted from it, or are they supporting it?
Well, here's what I have here. So it's a 2025 documentary.
Wait, isn't backlash a very specific term to use on the former slave class? That's a little fucked up. Backlash?
That's true. 5 years since the murder of George Floyd, the police killing that set America on fire with rage sparked a wave of protests around the world. This film explores one of the most important and defining events in modern history, starring Madaria Arradondo.
Is that where the word backlash comes from? Is like you get whipped for doing something bad, your back gets lashed?
Damn.
Is that it?
It's so simple, and yet
That's
how
fucked.
do I never put that together?
That's not good. I hope that's not it. But like Muslims would flog themselves on the back, so surely it's from before slave times. They've been doing that shit forever.
Yeah, it's defined as a sudden violent backward movement or reaction, or a strong adverse reaction as to a recent political or social development. First known use in 1815.
Oh God, no!
Oh,
That's one of the worst years you could have said.
So it seems to be like a knee-jerk reaction, a reactionary response in a negative way.
Why couldn't it have been invented before the Americas? Because now we're painted with this one. I think that's it. You have anything to plug, Rich?
Yeah, you can find me on Letterboxd for Rebel138, where I've been watching the Final Destination movies. I'm going to watch the 5 of them that have released, so I can, I guess, watch the 6th one in theaters in the next day or two. I'm going to work through them really quickly here. I just watched Final Destination 2 last night, and it is certified kino. I think it delivers on everything the first one kind of promises, and is kind of like the realization of what the franchise can be. So I'm excited to see the other ones now.
We've got the Chad Eggy, who sees Mission Impossible 8 without seeing any prior, and we've got Virgin E. Rich, has to watch every Final Destination to see the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if we're doing a kino on Final Destination, but I will just say, if there was a film that I would recommend, I enjoyed Final Destination Bloodlines more than
Mission Impossible.
I cannot say that.
That was going to be my hot take. That was going to be my hot take in the next couple of days whenever we do our next kino episode, is to say that one's the better one.
That's just so unfair.
It might be the low IQ take.
It is
nothing to do with IQ. It just hurts me.
it's such different expectations, like very high expectations that are let down, and I feel like betrayed, and I feel like I was missing out on something, versus no expectations, and if the movie's even somewhat all right, I'll be like, oh, that was good.
I am willing to say
it's incredibly unfair.
the sixth best Mission Impossible is better than the best Final Destination. I don't care.
Wow. Okay.
It has to be.
It has to. I mean, you're probably right. You're absolutely right. But it's just funny to me that this is where we're at.
My last statement is that Final Destination Bloodlines is a full hour shorter than Mission Impossible.
True.
You know, and it keeps the action coming. With that, doesn't need that
one more gripe. This is the longest Mission Impossible movie. It has the least like stunts in it,
and the least story to tell. It's just rehashing what we've been told 100 times.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh well, I still liked it.
What's your ranking? Is this last, or is this like,
I think it's sixth.
Sixth? Okay. All right. So what, 2 and 3, or 2 and...
I thought they kept getting better up to 6, so I don't know where it would fall between other ones, but
wow,
it doesn't matter. It's arbitrary and reductive. It's all beautiful art made by the god of cinema, Tom Cruise. And I can't wait to see what he does next. He says he's going to keep making movies until he's over 100. And that's 40 years from now, so that's a lot more Kino to look forward to.
I'll probably die before Tom Cruise, honestly.
Yeah, like his career's at the halfway point. That's a good sign.
I want to see 90-year-old Tom Cruise like scrambling over a jet fighter.
Well, what he does is he wants to serve as the shining example to other actors of, no, we can do this. You don't even need the stunt double. You don't need CGI. I'm a 65-year-old man, and I'm literally on the side of this plane. What is your excuse?
Right. Dedicate yourself to your craft. Like, whatever you do, do it 100%, and you'll inspire a better world. Hopefully.
And with those inspirational words, I have to say, peace, people.
Peace.
Boobies.
I thought you said boobies. But it was the peace, as always.